What is the Void? The Void experience in Toronto was actually really fun and really cool. So the Void is in this place called the Rec Room, which is in Toronto, which is right next to the Ripley's Aquarium in Toronto. So if you drive or if you don't know how to get to the Rec Room, just say that, oh, I want to go to Ripley's Aquarium, and you'll be able to go to the Rec Room. Now, within the Rec Room is something called the Void, and the Void is VR fully immersed. So I did it, and this is my experience. The first thing that when you get to the Rec Room is that it's super busy. It's kind of like a Dave and Buster's. If you are from Canada, you'll know what that is. Dave and Buster's. It's basically an arcade but for adults. So there's, tons of games, different type of games. You have to go buy a wristband. You get like credits on your wristband, so you can use those credits to play the arcade. But the Void itself is actually something different, and you have to pay like a ticket to actually go into the Void and experience fully immersion of VR. Now, what's the difference between the Void and regular VR, like the Oculus Rift? So the Oculus Rift is something you use at home. You have to have a computer. It's tethered to your computer. So there's a wire hanging from the headset going to your computer, and you can't really move around because it's your computer is stationary. I went into the Void. It was me and my two friends. We went to the Void. We paid our tickets. It was about $25 each, and I would say the experience overall was about 10 to 12 minutes long. Not very long, and it didn't feel that long because we were having so much fun within the experience itself. So this particular experience that we went to, it was a Ghostbusters theme one. So we were fighting ghosts. So the first thing that happens when you get to the Void is you pay your ticket, you get your ticket. They force you to sign up with their website and sign up with their name, and you get to choose like your avatar. And the avatars for the Ghostbuster experience was basically four people, and there wasn't really much difference between the people. I think two of them were dark skinned and two of them were white skinned, and they were all male. So one of my friends was a female, and she couldn't change the person's the avatar to a male. Okay, so the next step is they have these, like, I guess, vests, and these vests have the computer in it. So the vests were pretty heavy, but they helped strap you in. It felt like we were going skydiving or something. So the straps were tight, but not uncomfortable. And also the headset was very comfortable. I was really surprised because I wear glasses, and the headset itself was very comfortable. And the headset itself is one of those ones where you kind of flip up and flip down. But in this case, I just they told me, like, get ready. Once you flip it down, we're gonna show you where you are, and you're gonna have to go into this room. So, and also, so the headset has the front part where it flips down to in front of your face. So if you have glasses, it's not gonna affect your glasses. And then also you have really big headphones cover your whole head, your whole ears, and it felt more like wearing a helmet versus wearing a headset. So that's how I would explain it. And then they also gave us these guns, and they told us there's only one button, the trigger button, because there was other buttons on the gun itself, but for this experience it was just the trigger button. So we went inside, and the experience started, and they told us, like, if you see a chair, it's actually a chair in real life. So I had to go in and test it, right? So I was wearing my headset, I was walking, and then I touched the chair, the sofa, and it was actually a sofa. Now, the experience itself was very, high octane, lots of ghosts going around. You're shooting ghosts. And there was one point in the experience where we had to walk through a door and walk towards a elevator, and that elevator, it felt like we were going up different floors, and like it felt like we were actually going up, right? One gripe that I would have is the tracking isn't perfect, and the I guess inverse kinematics, where you're walking, because only your head, I feel like only your head and maybe your body is being tracked. Because I saw my friend, she was walking, but it was like the legs weren't walking properly, and they told us specifically that, you know Don't be too close to your friends because it might not be fully tracked properly. And also, there was points in the game where I was shooting my gun, and then I would put it down, but my gun wouldn't go down when I didn't shoot anything. So that they still need to work on that part. Like the tracking is not 100%. So it was very everyone was walking very slow through the door because we weren't used to like we still didn't trust like the system. And for me especially because seeing the tracking not being fully 100%, I wasn't sure if I was going to walk into a wall or anything. But it was good. The experience itself was really good because there was 4D effects. There was like mist, there was water, there was like cold air, there was wind. There was one point in the experience where we were outside the building, and it actually felt like we were outside. The temperature was colder, the air was colder, there was wind blowing and everything, and we were on this rickety kind of like painter's platform, and it felt like we were actually on that platform. And it was very very visceral, like you felt it. And yeah, it was really fun. I just think it's really short, and for the price it's a decent experience. Would I go back again after experiencing the Ghostbusters? I wouldn't go back again to experience the same thing. I would probably go back again if they changed it to something else, because the $25 is kind of like a steep price, because that's about one 40x movie ticket, and that's like about 1 hour long movie, right? So until we get more and more kind of VR locations, VR, like VR arcades in Toronto, where you're actually moving through space um, versus kind of having the VR arcades in Toronto. So in Toronto we have a lot of VR kind of locations where they set up like VR kind of rooms. So each room would be like a Vive headset, an Oculus Rift headset. They'll run the wire on top of the ceiling, so the wire isn't an issue. But you can only move like in a small like 10 feet box. So that is kind of like the other type of VR experiences that we have in Toronto. The Void experience in itself is actually very, very different and very compelling. That's the word that I'm looking for. Very compelling. So I would definitely go to more the Void type experiences where you're actually in a room and you could like walk around, or even if they have to do some kind of redirected walking where they redirect you're walking, you think you're walking straight but you're walking in a circle. Even if they have to do that, I think that'd be great. And I think in the next few years, I think we're going to see more and more of these type of experiences. So instead of having, instead of a company going to like a laser tag thing, or maybe like go-karts, it'll be like a full-size kind of like VR experience where people put on headsets, put on vests, and they just go into like these different worlds and experience them. So I hope you guys like my review on The Void. Highly recommend it. If you're in Toronto, definitely check it out. It's at the Rec Room, which is next to Ripley's Aquarium. And make sure you follow the signs in the Rec Room to go to The Void.